Hey Bookish Babes, and welcome to day 6 of the 12 Days of Bookmas. For those that are new around here, the name's Rainy. I primarily read fantasy romance, so if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe to my channel down below. Today's video is very special as we are doing our most anticipated reads for January through March of 2025, or quarter 1. I used to do them all at the same time, and I've just learned that you find out about books as the months are getting closer and closer. And I already have a crap ton of books for January through March. So we're just gonna stick with the ones that I got. Of course, I have ones that everybody's gonna know about. And then I have a couple that I found that I am just excited that are coming around soon. And I can't wait to share them with you. Now, I do have all my notes right over here, like of the synopsises and stuff, because it's not like I have these all memorized. So if you see me looking over there, that's why. But without that being said, I will timestamp January releases, February and March, and maybe even timestamp all of the different books. But yeah, let's dive in. The first one that says it comes out on the 1st of January, but that's probably not right, and I probably am gonna already say this is not right, but it says that on Goodreads, so we're gonna go with it. But it doesn't even have a cover yet. It's Alchemised by Sen Lin Yu, which that is basically the traditionally published edition of Manacled, if you've heard of that one. I do have this copy of that was gifted by a friend, so that is very exciting because it is a fan fiction, but it's a Hermione one. But obviously it can't be a Hermione one if it's getting traditionally published, so she had to change it up. But I'm so unbelievably excited for this. Do I still want to read and need to read Manacled? Yes, I will get to it one day, but like, guys, look at that font. That's very small, okay? So yeah, I'm excited for this one whenever it comes out. Then coming out on January 7th is the next book in the Wayward children's series, book number 10, called Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear. And this is Nadia's story. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember who Nadia is. I read this entire series. I binged it all in March, I think, for Realmathon. And while I enjoyed it, it wasn't like my favorite thing ever, but I did have a good time with it when I was reading it. So I am gonna make sure that I stay on track with this series. But I'm not gonna really tell you what it is because it's literally book number 10. But you know, they're cute little fantasy portal world novellas that are anywhere between like 100 to 200 pages. So I'm excited to get to this one. One that I'm very excited about that I just found out today is coming out on January 7th is Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee. Fonda Lee is the author of the Greenbone series, which is Jade City, Jade War, and Jade Legacy. And that's one of my all-time favorite fantasy book series of all time. And so I'm pretty sure that this one, it might either be her mom or her sister, but they're doing this together. It's called Breath of the Dragon, and it is a YA duology. So that is interesting. And it says it's based on characters and teachings created by Bruce Lee. So that is exciting as well. I'm not going to read this whole synopsis, but it says 16-year-old June dreams of proving his worth as a warrior in this tournament, held every 6 years to get the magical scroll of earth to a new protector. And he wants to restore his father's honor in order to right a horrible mistake that caused their banishment from his home, mother, and twin brother. And so he basically enters the competition anyway against his dad's judgment. And I don't know what's really going to happen there, but if Fonda Lee writes it, I will be there, honestly. The next one, I don't know why I'm putting this on here because I have a very hit or miss, mostly miss track record with this dude, but I'm going to try anyway. Coming out on January 14th is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I don't know why I keep picking his stuff up. It's not like he's my favorite author, but this cover is stunning, I will just say. It says, they call them wayward girls, loose girls, girls who grew up too fast, and they're sent to the Wellwood home in St. Augustine, Florida. Ooh, I live near there. Where unwed mothers are hidden by their families to have their babies in secret, give them up for adoption, and most important of all, to forget any of it ever happened. Okay, interesting. So I guess it has to do with pregnancy and abortion, pregnancy and complications and all these things. That's probably going to be a hard hitter. And the fact that it's going to be horror somehow, I don't know, Mr. Hendrix. I don't know about that. And we have an author that I absolutely love. I've loved both books of hers. I am so excited to get to it. And no, it is not a romantasy. It is a thriller. Lane Fargo on January 14th is coming out with The Favorites. I read They Never Learn and I loved that book from her. I read Temper and I loved that book from her. I just love the way that she writes. And so I'm very excited that we're finally getting another one. And it's an obsession one. It says it's an epic love story set in the sparkling savage sphere of elite figure skating about a woman determined to carve her own path both on and off the ice. You really don't need to tell me more than that. I'm gonna pick it up. And it already has a bunch of ratings because a lot of people were getting the arc and they're all loving it. So you know what? Just give it to me. Then this one is already technically out. It was indie published about 2 years ago, but then it was taken off and just got re-traditionally published. And the Barnes & Noble special hardcover edition that I want comes out in January. That's why I put it here. And that's Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ariu. However, the traditionally published paperback, I believe and the regular hardcover came out last week. I actually have the indie published edition of the first one. And so I probably will keep this just because I like having this edition. Although I don't have the second one and I didn't get it in time before it was taken off. So I don't know. I might keep that, I might not. I don't even really know what this one is about though, even though I've had it. In a world where no entities exist but the stars, cruel and merciless gods that watch over the world, Alara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy that promises she will fall for a star and it will kill them both. But when one descends to wreak havoc on her kingdom, she's forced to flee into the arms of her enemy in the neighboring country. Okay. Sure. Sounds good to me. Then, of course, the one that everybody is waiting for coming out on January 21st is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Now, have I read Iron Flame yet? No, I have freaking not. Am I rereading Fourth Wing and going to read Iron Flame in December, shortly after this video releases? Oh, yes. You bet your bottom dollar that I am. So I will be able to read this on opening day with everybody, just like I was able to read Serpents. I want to be in the know, and all I'm going to say is the storm is coming, because I'm not saying more. If you don't know about Fourth Wing right now and you don't know what the series is about, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not going to be the one to explain it for you. Google is free. And then the last one that I have for January comes out on January 28th, although I can't say that I'm actually going to read this in time. It depends on if I read the whole series before this, because this is either a prequel series or a spin-off series. It's Iron and Embers by Helen Schur. It is a new series, The Ashes of Thesmar, and I'm pretty sure it's a spin-off series to The Legend of Thesmar, which is Blood and Steel, which has 4 books that not read any of them. Do I own all 4 of them? Yes, I do. So I would like to read this, but I'm not going to read the synopsis because I don't want to ruin it for myself. Oh yeah, it literally says it's the first installment in an epic fantasy romance series. Yeah, but I know it's a spin-off series. So, Rainy, you really need to get on your shit is what you're saying. All right, moving on to February. And the first book we have on here comes out on February 11th, and that is Scythe and Sparrow, which is the 3rd book in the Ruinous Love trilogy by Bryn Weaver. I read Butcher and Blackbird, absolutely loved it. I kind of have skipped Leather and Lark because I was not hearing great things about the audiobook or necessarily the book either, and so I've kind of held off. However, I do want to finish it out because I was enjoying it when I liked it, and I know that this one says, circus motorcycle performer Rose meets lonely small-town Dr. Fionn after a night of murderous adventure goes awry. I mean, circus motorcyclist? Like, that's my brand. I'm a circus star, don't you know? Sounds good to me. The next one comes out on February 18th, and I'm hesitant on whether I'm actually going to read this or not, but I put it on here because, let's just talk about it. Cursebound by Sarah R. Arifi, which is the second to Feybound. Now, I have a complicated relationship with Feybound. I literally just read it. It's in my most recent vlog. I'll link that underneath here so you can watch it. I gave it a 3.5 star. There were parts of it that I was so intrigued by. Like, the plot kept me interested the whole time, but then there were parts that really dragged that I was bored and I like almost DNF'd. So I don't know what to make of this book, but I kind of was intrigued by it enough that I want to know how it's going to end, because I think it's a duology, and so I probably will just borrow this from the library, and if I like it enough, I will buy it, because I am planning on keeping Feybound, but like, I just don't know. But like, it's also so pretty. All right, this one is a new one that I found, and I don't really know a lot about it, if we're being honest, but I saw someone put it in theirs, and so I just put it on here, and the cover's really pretty, and it's called When the Stars Were Devoured by Stephanie Blair, and it comes out on February 19th, and I don't know. It's really pretty to me, but it just says, let's see. Okay, it says, When the Stars Are Devoured is the first book in an adult fantasy romance series following a broody, morally gray warrior who loses more than just his freedom to the fierce woman who ensnares him. I mean, say less. Like, that sounds really good. I'm willing to give a new indie debut author a try, so let's just get it. Then coming out also on February 18th is The Rebel Witch, which is the second book in the Crimson Moth or Heartless Hunter series by Kristen Sciarelli. And have I read Heartless Hunter yet? No, but there was a St. Martin's Press protest, okay? So that's why I was avoiding it. But I can no longer avoid it, and I need to read it in January so that I can be ready in February and finish out this duology with everybody else, because I want to be on the know. I do know that it is a witch hunter romantasy, okay? And it's YA, and that's all I really need to know going into it. Then coming out on February 21st is The Kingdom of Claw, which is the second book in the Ashen series, which is the Road of Bone series by Demi Winters. Now, it did just get traditionally published, and I don't know if they're actually allowing you to complete your matching indie set, which I have the paperback for Road of Bone, so if they're not, I'll probably just sell it and get the traditionally hardcover one because they're literally the same cover. But Road of Bones I've not read yet. Do you see a pattern? I'm like talking about books that I want to get to, hoping that I'll read the first book so I can get to the next book in the series. But I know it says that The Road of Bones is a woman on the run, a crew of Viking mercenaries, a forbidden romance, and the secret which threatens them all. Sounds very juicy to me. And then we're finally moving on to March, where I once again picked a sequel that I haven't read the first book to yet, but you know, that's really on brand for me. Coming out on March 4th is The Ragpicker King, which is the second book in Swordcatcher, or The Chronicles of Castellane by Cassandra Clare. It's her adult fantasy series. And no, I've not read Swordcatcher. I own it. It's very pretty. I want to get to this as well, but I haven't read it. No, I have not read it. I know it says, oh God, okay, this is a very long synopsis. So you know what? We're not going to read it. If you want to read it, look it up yourself, but I am still excited to maybe get to this one this year. Then coming up on March 4th is Dragon Cursed by Elise Kova, and there is no synopsis for this, but the cover is beautiful. I've never read an Elise Kova before. I own several books by hers. I've heard that she's a very fun romantasy author, but this cover really is just speaking to me, and if it has a dragon in it, I will most likely 100% read this book. Then one that I'm most excited about coming out on March 18th is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which is Haymitch's story in The Hunger Games. I love Haymitch, especially in the movies. I just really loved him. I wanted to know about his journey, how he got to where he was, and I'm so excited that we're finally getting his story. I'm hoping that she'll do that with a couple of other characters like Finnick and other, you know, ones that we really love. But yeah, I am doing a reread right now with Bree's Patreon. We're reading Catching Fire right now. We're reading a book a month until leading up to that, and I've never actually read The Songbird and The Ballad of Snakes, and I've never watched the movie, so that'll be a fun time. Then coming up also on March 18th is The Rivaled Crown, which is the third book in the Veiled Kingdom series by Holly Renee, and I did just read book one, ate it up, loved it so much. I've not heard good stuff about the second one, but I'm still going to give it a try because it's only like 200 pages, and then I can get to the third book and see if she wraps it all up nicely. But basically, it's about a evil king, a rebellion, and a hidden princess that is trying to escape, and I'm not going to say a lot more than that. Then coming up on March 25th is one that I'm slightly hesitant on, and that is This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. Now, I have a mostly love relationship with Ashley Winstead. I absolutely loved In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and I loved The Last Housewives, but I hated Midnight is the Darkest Hour, and her romances were just okay. She's not really a romance girly. I don't know why she's branching out. I think she was trying to do a literary fiction one too, and I was like, homegirl, stay in your lane, like thriller is where you shine, okay? So it says this one is a chilling, compulsive story of 5 amateur sleuths whose hunt for an elusive killer catapults them into danger as the world watches. That sounds very intriguing to me. You better believe I will sit my little self down and read this book. Then one that I heard about recently and the cover just got me, that comes out on March 25th, is Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna Van Veen. And I'm pretty sure she also wrote another book that I've been really interested in reading lately called My Darling or My Dear Dreadful Thing, something like that. The cover is like beautiful. I really want to read that. But this one says, I'm in your blood and you are mine. The Netherlands in 1887, Lucy's twin sister Sarah is unwell. She's not eating. She's nonsensical. She's obsessed with a centuries-old corpse recently discovered on her husband's grand estate. The doctor has diagnosed her with temporary insanity caused by a fever of the brain. To protect her twin sister from a lunatic asylum, she must unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's condition, but it's clear her twin is hiding something too. But Lucy is also harboring secrets of her own. But then the worst happens. Sarah's behavior takes a turn for the strange. She becomes angry and hungry, and she suspects that something is trying to possess her beloved sister. Or is it madness? That sounds fabulous. I can't wait to read that. I can't wait to read that. I can't wait to read that. And last but not least, coming out on March 27th is What Blooms from Death, which is a new series by S.M. Gaither. I've not read anything by her yet. I do own Flame & Sparrow, and I own the first book in her other series, Song of the Marked. She is going to be at Villains and Vixens, so I would love to prioritize her and maybe read her newest book. But this has a very long synopsis as well, so I'm not going to read it, but the cover is beautiful. Like, if you have a good cover, chances are I'm just gonna buy it, okay? I'm a girly for a good cover, okay? Anyway, I'm very excited to get to this one as well, as I'm excited to get to all of them. And with that, that is all of the anticipated releases that I'm excited for in January to March. Am I going to get all of these right as they come out? No. Normally I would, but this year I'm trying to do better. Only get ones that I know I'm gonna read right away. I say that now, just wait till the book hauls come out. I mean, like, we all know who I be. Let's do, if you got to the end of this, let's do a castle emoji because I'm looking at what blooms from death and it has a castle on the cover. Let me know what your most anticipated release is for January through March because I would love to know if I missed one that I should be prioritizing. And I just want to make sure I thank my patrons, the residents. You are all fabulous. I love you all so much. If you want to know more about the Patreon, exclusive videos, sprints, all of the things, then look in the information down below. And with that, my friends, I will see you in a video very soon. Bye.